Welcome again to Ancient Tales for Today. We've been looking at this very old book. Now, as we remember, the last lesson was about a king who became jealous because somebody else was more successful than he was. Now we continue today as we follow along. The king's son becomes a very special person. Yeah, today's lesson is number 86, True Friendship. True Friendship. Stay by now for Ancient Tales for Today.
Story 86, True Friendship. The word friend can mean many things. People you want to spend time with, those you talk to at work. For some, it is someone they just met. But true friendship goes much deeper than that. It is based on trust. A true friend is one who will never let you down. The ancient tales speak about friendship. Perhaps the greatest example is that of David and Jonathan. In many ways, their different positions should have prevented them from being friends. Jonathan was King Saul's son and was in line to be the next king. David had been chosen by heaven to be the next king. They should have been bitter rivals, yet they truly loved each other as real friends. Even though this meant Jonathan had to oppose his father, he was a true friend to David and helped him many times. In fact, when Jonathan defended his friend David to his father, King Saul, the king cursed Jonathan and then threw a spear at him, trying to kill his own son. That proved to Jonathan that his father really did want to kill David, so he warned David to run away. Jonathan was willing to risk his own life and even give up the position of the next king because of his friendship for David. He also believed David was heaven's choice as the next king, and while this may have been painful for him, he was willing to accept this plan. What would you be willing to give up for a true friend? We can all say we are friends, but how our sincerity will be seen is in what we are willing to do for a true friend. Are we willing to disadvantage ourselves because we want to help a friend? The truth is that true friendship is willing to pay the price.
Welcome back. We've heard the story. Now let's take a look at it sentence by sentence. The word friend can mean many things. It's true. I mean, when you hear the word 朋友, what do you think? There's all sorts of different levels. Now, people you want to spend time with, they're friends, okay? To spend time with, 你要花时间跟他们在一起, right? Those you talk to at work, maybe they're your friends because you spend a lot of time with them, okay? Your friends. But then again, think of it. For some, being a friend may be someone they just met. Can you imagine that? Somebody they just met and they already call them friends. So the definition of friend may be quite different. 他的朋友的定义就不同啊。But Today we're talking about true friendship. So here maybe is an explanation. A true friend, that's true friendship, goes much deeper than that. Just meeting somebody and say, oh, we're friends. No, 比较深啊, okay? It is based upon trust. 建立在信任上, okay? 信任, trust. Of course, you can translate trust 相信, okay? But here we're talking about 信任. That's the lowest, the deepest level. Actually, if you really want to know, a true friend is one who will never let you down. Now that's an interesting English word, isn't it? Somebody who will never let you down. 某一个人不会让你失望. A person who won't let you down is a person who will not disappoint you. Okay? So you got that? Now, the ancient tales speak about friendship. I suppose if the facts were really known, there are many stories about friendship, different kinds of friendship. But we're talking about true friendship. Now, probably, perhaps, 或许, the greatest example of that is David and Jonathan. Now, we've been talking about the king, that's Saul, and we've been talking about David. Remember this story? He was the one who killed the giant. 他就杀那个巨人. And now we're talking about a new person, David and Jonathan. David and Jonathan. Who is Jonathan? Well, let's try to explain this a little bit. In many ways, whoever Jonathan is, their positions should have prevented them from being friends. Okay, 在很多不同的角度, in many ways of looking at it, their different positions, 他们不同的座位, should have prevented, 妨碍, prevented them from being friends. They shouldn't have been friends because, well, they were different. They were different. You know what? Or you want to know why? Well, Jonathan was the king's son. Yep. King Saul probably had more than one son, but his favorite son, or his oldest son, was Jonathan, his son. And he was in line to be the next king. 应该做下一任的王啊. So, I mean, usually the oldest son becomes the next king, right? If everything works out fine. But, and here is the interesting thing, David had been chosen by heaven to be the next king. Now, do you get the picture here? The next king should have been Jonathan. But heaven, God, had chosen David as the next king. Can you imagine that they shouldn't be friends? Jonathan and David shouldn't be friends. In fact, they should have been bitter rivals. 他们应该是做死对头, bitter rivals. They should be. One should be the king, another one has been chosen to be the king, and that would be a conflict, 有冲突, right? Not necessarily. Because yet they, this is Jonathan and David, truly loved each other. They really did. They were good friends, real friends, 真正的朋友. Even though this meant Jonathan had to oppose his father, 必须违抗他的爸爸. He was a true friend to David. And actually, he helped David in many, many different ways and in many different times. And we're going to go into that in just a minute. But we're going to take a little break now for some light on our path. We'll be back in just a little bit. But first, for some light on our path. Okay, now for some light on our path, we turn to the Old Testament book of Proverbs. Proverbs 18:24.
我们看一看箴言的18章24节。
Here's what it says in English. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
这个经文说，滥交朋友的自取败坏，但有一朋友比弟兄更亲密。
Okay, got a question for you. What do you think about the relationship between David and Jonathan?
他们的关系真的是比好朋友更好朋友，像亲兄弟一样。我想是因为大卫是一个很有魅力的人，他除了他的我相信他的相貌样子是一个很好看的男孩子之外，还有他的性情，他真的是很温柔、很忠诚的，还有他会弹琴，他也很有才干。
Oh yes, that's true. But it's interesting that Jonathan was not he didn't consider this intimidating, and he didn't say, "Wow, you will become the next king. You may become the next king." 事实上他已经被选上了，这时候已经选上了。But he didn't. He even said, "I know that you will become the next king." But he didn't have any jealousy.
所以 Jonathan 的性格也是非常棒的。
Yeah.
所以好朋友一起的时候是要两个人都很棒才可以。
Yeah. You can't have one good and one bad. You got to have both of them good. That's true. That's very, very good. So it's very important that we stay close to our friends. Thank you for joining us for some light on our path. Welcome back. Now, as we have seen so far, Jonathan and David should be bitter rivals, 死对头, but they aren't. They're true friends. In fact, when Jonathan defended his friend David, what does it mean to defend? Well, defend in this case is 为他说好话, or and sometimes 为他做好事情. Sometimes it even means to protect. But in this case, it's that Jonathan was saying something good about David. And when Jonathan defended his friend David to his father Saul, the king cursed Jonathan. Not only did he curse 咒诅, okay? Not only did he curse Jonathan, he actually threw his 长矛, he threw his spear at him. He was trying to kill his own son. Can you imagine that? 他嫉妒到这个地步. Okay? He was trying to kill his own son. Now, that proved something to Jonathan. 对 Jonathan 来说是证明 that his father really did want to kill David. I mean, he almost killed his own son. He almost killed Jonathan. So he warned David to run away. 你要逃避, run away. My father is out to kill you. He's going to kill you. Life gets complicated, doesn't it? Very complicated. Now, Jonathan was willing to risk his own life. 他愿意冒他自己生命的险，冒险他的生命。Okay? He was willing to risk his own life and even give up his position as the next king. Can you imagine that? He should have been the next king. 他愿意放弃. Why? Because Jonathan and David were good friends. They were really good friends. 他们是真正的是好朋友，因为他们两位的友谊。They were protecting each other. He also believed that David was heaven's choice to be the next king. Now that actually he was chosen by the old prophet Samuel. So Samuel actually chose him. And Jonathan heard about this. And Jonathan believed David was heaven's choice. 知道天国已经这个上帝已经选上他. You see? So he believed that. Now, 当然, and while this may have been painful to him, 或许这个应该对他来说是有一点痛苦. He could have been king. How many of us would like to be king? And yet he accepted David as the next king. He was willing to accept this plan. 他愿意接受这个计划. Now, here's the question that I'd like to ask. What would you be willing to give up for a true friend? Now, think of it. 为了一个真正的朋友，你愿意放弃什么？愿意牺牲什么？ How many people would you do that for? You think about, of all the friends you have, are there some that you would be willing to give up something? Think about it. We can all say we are friends. I'm your friend, I hope. At least you see me on television. So we're friends, sort of. But how our sincerity will be seen is in what we are willing to do for a true friend. OK, 我们为了一个好朋友牺牲什么，会表示我证明我们的真诚 sincerity. Are you a sincere person? Sincerity. 真诚啊。Are we willing to disadvantage ourselves because we want to help a friend? Now, this is an interesting word, disadvantage. Usually, an advantage is 有益处 or 好处. To disadvantage simply means, are we willing to 牺牲啊我们自己的东西 to disadvantage ourselves 为了要 help a friend? This is the test of real friendship. The truth is that true friendship is always, I should have written in always, true friendship is always willing to pay the price. 愿意付上代价. Are you willing to pay the price? If you are, then you are for sure a real friend. And now some words you need to know. To begin with, we start with the word trust.
信任 trust.
Okay, trust. In English, Lena, we use believe and trust, but they're a little bit different.
有层次的分的。
Yes, yes. Trust is 信任.
对。
Okay, now we go on to another one is a position, your position in an organization, 机构的你的 what? Position.
Position 有的时候我们说是地位，但是在机构里面可能说是职位。
Okay, good, good. A position, our position, whether we're high or low. And David and Jonathan's position was different, but they still were good friends,
对。
very good friends. Okay, sometimes Jonathan had to oppose his father. Okay,
意思是说，这里是说是为了什么他要抵抗他的父亲，是吧？
right, to oppose your father. I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but he also knew that God had chosen David.
而且他知道他爸爸做的很错误。
Yeah, of course. So 这个是非常大的矛盾。
对对
你要做孝敬的孩子，哎呀，这个很难。
对，
幸亏我不住在那时
幸
候了。
亏你不是 Jonathan。
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Jonathan was willing to risk his own life. Okay.
冒险 冒
险
险对
他的生命
对
啊，冒他的生命。Okay, risk. And let me see here. When we say it's very painful, what do we mean?
啊，
Painful?
很痛苦。
很痛苦。Okay, and so 这个痛苦 is physical, I mean really pain, and also mental, 这个思想上的
对
也有
对
痛苦
painful，痛
painful.
苦
Oops, that's about all the time we have for words we need to know. Well, now we come to the end of this lesson. And we've just been talking about friendship. Are you a real friend? Jonathan and David were real friends. Even though their positions were quite different. But they were really friends. Now time goes along very quickly, and our next story is a very interesting one, a wise wife of a foolish man. And that's for our next lesson, so you want to join us. A foolish man, why is a wise wife, 聪明的妻子, getting married to a foolish, 愚蠢的男人? You'll want to join us next time for our Ancient Tales for today.
That's all for today, and thanks for watching. If you like Ancient Tales for Today, please visit atft.chinesehope.tv. You may also contact us by writing to ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Again, that's ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Tell your friends about Ancient Tales for Today. See you next time.